Good morning, friends. Today I wanted to read The Mother's Day Mice by Eve Bunting. This book is a little bit older. I'll show you something. When we go past our end papers, we get to our title page. If you turn that title page over, right here we see our copyright date. So we can find out that this book came out in 1986. So this is by Eve Bunting, and the pictures are were made by Jan Brett. It is read with permission of Clarion Books, which is a division of Houghton Mifflin Company. And here we go. As we are all thinking about Mother's Day coming up and the special women in our lives, I thought this might give you some ideas. Biggest Little Mouse wakened first. It was early morning and still almost dark. He tugged gently on the whiskers of Middle Mouse. Time to get up and go for our presents. It's Mother's Day. Middle Mouse tugged gently on the whiskers of Little Mouse, who slept between him and the wall. Mother's Day, he whispered. They crept out of bed and tiptoed past Mother's room. Outside, one star still slept in the sky. They stopped to wash paws and faces in the pail of water Mother kept by the front door. Biggest studied his watch. We have 2 hours before Mother wakes up. Middle and I know what we're getting for her and where to find it. He looked at Little Mouse and waited. I know what I'm getting too, Little Mouse said. Honeysuckle. Biggest shook his head. Little Mouse, honeysuckle only grows on Honeysuckle Cottage. And we know who lives in Honeysuckle Cottage. You'll have to find something else for Mother. I wonder who lives there. Little Mouse wanted to argue, but Biggest was already lining them up, one behind the other. Hold tails and be quiet as we go, he said. The dark has dangers for little mice. What kind of dangers would the dark have for mice? Do you have any ideas? Let's see. They ran across the meadow. Little Mouse liked the tough, smooth feel of his brother's tail. He thought the 3 of them, joined together, must be almost as long as a snake. He didn't want to think about snakes, though. Do you guys see a snake in this picture? Do snakes eat mice? The edges of the sky were streaked with morning. A red fox passed them on his way home. They crouched till the white tip of its tail had disappeared in the trees. Grr, Little Mouse said fiercely. Who's afraid of him? But his voice was so weak that he couldn't hear it himself. I'd say he's afraid of him. I'd be afraid if there were an animal that could gobble me up. An owl sheared above them as they lay hidden in the long grass. Little Mouse kept his eyes tight closed. If he couldn't see the owl, then the owl couldn't see him. You didn't have to squeeze my tail so hard, Middle Mouse told him when they stood up. I thought you might be frightened, Little Mouse said. I was telling you I was here, Middle Mouse sniffed. A strawberry patch grew at the edge of the meadow. There's my surprise for Mother, Middle Mouse said. She loves strawberries. She says the first ones taste of summer coming. Biggest Mouse boosted him up so he could get the roundest, reddest berry from the top. Its weight tipped him backward as he carried it. Look, there it is. Look at how big it is compared to the mouse. My surprise is here too, Biggest Mouse said. He picked a dandelion fluff ball and held it high by its milky stem. It's a wish flower. A wish flower for Mother. Little Mouse thought the fluff ball was as beautiful as spinning of spiders' webs. He could see the sky right through it. Mother will love it, Little Mouse said. Have any of you ever made a wish on a dandelion fluff ball like that? I have. Now we can go for honeysuckle. Oh, now can we go for honeysuckle? We have time, and maybe he won't be there. Biggest Mouse sighed. We'll go look, but only because you're the littlest and it's Mother's Day. And we won't go close. Cat is always there. Do you see the cat on the porch? That's what they were worried about. Cat was there. He lay on the porch of Honeysuckle Cottage, monstrously big, monstrously black. When he yawned, his mouth was a dark, spiked cave. Little Mouse could see it clearly, even though they weren't too close. Maybe he'll leave soon, Little Mouse whispered. He pulled his eyes away from Cat to the honeysuckle that twined around the porch. Honeysuckle for Mother. Have you guys ever seen honeysuckle in person? When I was little, we used to take the blossoms and you would pull just the back tip out and you'd get one little drop of honeysuckle nectar. It was very sweet. Here we go. Inside the cottage, someone was playing a piano. The tune was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Dum-dee, dum-dee, dum-dee-da. Dum-dee, dum-dee, dum-dee-da. Maybe Cat likes to lie in the sun and listen to music, Little Mouse whispered. Maybe the person will stop playing soon and Cat will go away. He sniffed the honeysuckle air and pretended not to see Biggest Mouse check the time. Dum-dee, dum-dee, dum-dee-da. That person is not going to stop playing, Middle Mouse muttered. He set his strawberry on the ground and a beetle came on the run. Middle picked it up again and shooed the beetle away. Little Mouse began creeping toward the cottage on his belly. Biggest yanked him back by the tail. Stop that! Anyway, it's time to go. What if Mother wakes up on Mother's Day and all her little mice are missing? Or eaten, Middle added. We have to go, Biggest said. I'm sorry, Little Mouse. But inside Little Mouse's head, something had started to beat. Something wonderful that was the beginning of an idea. Something better than honeysuckle. It's all right, Little Mouse said. The sun made a pink path across the meadow as they ran for home. Bring her a daisy, Biggest said over his shoulder. She likes daisies. Bring her a rock, Middle puffed. A small rock that's not hard to carry. They're nice, Little Mouse said, but they're not special enough for this special day. He had something special, though. He had it strong and firm in his mind when they got home. I wonder what it could be. Biggest stood the fluff ball in a jar beside Mother's chair. Middle put the strawberry on a blue dish on the table. I'm glad I didn't roll it, he said. Sometimes I wanted to, but I carried it all the way, and it wasn't even squished. He glanced sideways at Little Mouse. The strawberry can be from you too, Little Mouse. And the fluff ball will be from both of us, Biggest said. What nice brothers. Little Mouse smiled. Thank you, but I brought something of my own. He thought it was funny when his brothers looked around and rolled their eyes at each other. Something I kept hidden, he said. Biggest Mouse held up a warning paw. Shh, Mother's coming. Happy Mother's Day, they all shouted when she came in the kitchen. And Mother said, oh, why, you remembered. Remembered? We almost got eaten. Middle began, but Biggest poked him hard. Sometimes Middle talked too much. Mother blew on the fluff ball and it exploded into a million beautiful feathery seeds. Did you make a wish? Biggest Mouse asked. Yes, a wonderful wish. Mother cut the strawberry in 4 pieces. I love strawberries, she said. The first one's taste of summer coming. She nibbled on an edge of a berry and closed her eyes, and Little Mouse knew she was tasting sunshine and sweet corn and the cold waters of Meadow Stream. Now me, he said. He was so excited he thought he might explode like a fluff ball into a million pieces. The music he'd heard at Honeysuckle Cottage was loud in his mind, and he clasped his paws and began to sing. He sang the words he'd thought of as they ran home. We have brought a song to say, Happy, happy Mother's Day. No one's mother is so nice. Love from all your little mice. That was wonderful, Mother said when he finished. How astonished his brothers were. They thought he had nothing, and all this time he had this. Was it better than honeysuckle? Little Mouse asked. Much better, Mother said. Honeysuckle doesn't last forever. A song does. Was it the best of all your surprises? As soon as he asked, Little Mouse felt mean. The song is from all of us, he said quickly. Mother smiled. All my surprises were lovely. You each brought me something different, and you each brought me something the same. Do you know what that was, Little Mouse? Little Mouse knew. They'd brought her their love. Mother opened her arms wide and they ran to her. Let's sing Little Mouse's song, she said. Mother and her 3 little mice swayed together as they sang, and the kitchen was warm with wishes and summer coming and music and love. So, guys, if you're trying to think of something special for your moms or aunts or grandmas or the other special people in your life, think about what you could do that would show your love. It can be a song, a poem, a picture, because that is what they're going to appreciate most of all is your love. I hope you guys enjoyed this and have a great weekend and great Mother's Day. Bye, guys.